Yeah, absolutely.
Good,
Hi,
good, good. How are you?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm doing great. Sunday is going really well, and we have you on the international talk show. It's called Collaborate to Elaborate. I do this pretty much on any free time that we mutually agree on. So it is always fun to talk to different people around the globe. You are my 71st guest on the virtual show, and it's been doing really good. I have met a lot of different people with different personalities, different talent, and it's been absolutely fantastic, I must say. So that's about my show. Why don't you introduce yourself to my audience?
Yeah, sure thing. So basic, as you know, my name is Adeeba, and talking about myself, I've completed my education and everything from this city called Gorakhpur. It's a state in UP. It's a city in UP. Okay, and if I talk about my educational background, so it has been a bit weird. I have completed my bachelor's in science, and then I switched to master's in American literature from
Oh, wow.
science to MA. Yeah, because
That's
I
the
wanted
first
to.
time that's the first time I'm hearing about somebody who switches from science to literature. I've seen the other way around in different fields, people coming to science. But I think you are my first guest who has switched from science to literature. So I think we're going to talk about that as well.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a pretty weird thing, but yeah, it's worth it to talk about. So
Yeah.
basically, what happens is we often do not follow our dreams. We listen to our parents and follow their dream. So
Right.
I, being an elder daughter, I have like we had three siblings, so I'm the elder one. So my father
Hmm.
wanted me to become a doctor, but somewhere I wanted to become a journalist. Now there was a
Hmm.
huge debate, and ultimately, parents win because.
Well,
Uh,
we are there, so we are their product. So we can't argue much, but we can always put forward our case, to the Almighty, and for us, are the Almighty. So we try our best, and some succeed, and some try in a different way.
Yeah, so it happens, right? So the same happened here also. After my class 12th, we had a huge argument, and then my father was like, "You're so small right now, that is why you're not understanding the importance." I was like, "Okay, fine." And I completed my BSc, but my heart lied in journalism, literature, novels, poetries, and everything. So though I was a student, I have been a neat aspirant as well. So I was the student of the Star PMT. So I used to go for there. Star PMT, it's a coaching that teaches the students of NEET aspirants
Okay,
for
yeah, I've heard of.
MBBS. Okay, all right. It's just like Akash and physics wala and all. It's one among them. So
Okay,
what
so
happened?
I'm no connection with medical need,
Medicals.
but
Okay.
that's good. Apart from the
Yeah.
fact when I fell ill, or I am not well, then I go to a doctor. Because strange thing is, because I have done a PhD in machine learning myself, right? So
Okay.
people sometimes confuses me with a medical doctor, and I say no, man, it's a different thing.
It's a
That's the
PhD.
only connection I have. Apart from that, nothing
Mhm.
more. So yeah, you were telling
Um,
about the coaching.
Yeah, so students there were very much ambitious to crack their NEET examination to score 520, 580 to get the best medical colleges out there. And I used to write poetries sitting in the
Okay.
coaching institute because my heart was always in journalism and this
Creative
literature.
side, I think English creative
Yeah,
side
English
and
creative. Yeah,
playing with
I'm
the.
very creative. So
Uh,
this happened, and then I completed my BSc somehow. I told my father I don't want to do this, NEET. It's not my cup of tea. And eventually he agreed, and I completed my BSc. Then we again
well,
had an argument. Yeah, congratulations to myself. I did it. So
just hang on. I need to put my phone on airplane mode. Otherwise, I don't want to be distracted while talking to you. I just don't want this to happen because it has happened once. And let me
oh,
just put my other phone also on airplane mode. I don't want that to just. I'll be back in 1 minute.
sure,
Okay.
sure.
I'll be back. I'll be back. Okay, just last minute things because
Okay.
If the phone comes in and the whole the streaming thing goes for a toss, then it takes me another few minutes to reconnect and do all those magic thing. So I just don't want that to happen with having such a lovely, wonderful conversation with you. So all right, so where were we?
Yeah, I was telling about this journey only after completing my BSc, how I turned my stream to, masters. So
Hmm.
again, there was a debate that either you do B.Ed or you go for MSc. Now this time I told my father that, what, I've grown up now. I'm also not a teenager anymore and I can take my own decisions. So now here, my aunt, my aunt helped me a lot. She convinced my father somewhere and he agreed. Though he was reluctant, he was angry, but somewhere he agreed. Then I completed my master's in 2022. And amidst that, it was a COVID batch. We were a COVID batch in masters. So,
Okay. Yeah, I've
yeah,
heard a lot of COVID stories, so I would be very excited to hear about yours.
yeah, it's been a wonderful experience for me actually. It let me explore my true potentials. And because it was a complete lockdown, we were back to our hometown. Like I completed my master's from Kanpur.
Mm-hmm.
So Kanpur University. So I came back to Gorakhpur, and then I started writing poetries, reading novels, and amidst that only I was reading a book on public speaking, and I used to watch this video of this famous speaker Jay Shetty. I think you must have heard about him.
Actually, not. I just started public speaking few months back, but you
Okay.
can tell me all about it.
So he's a wonderful speaker, motivational speaker, you can say, and he talks about he sees the need of the audience and talk as per that, and that inspired me more. And amidst that only I joined this NGO called Freedom Employability Academy. I came across these guys, and it was a wonderful organization. Now I went there, explored myself. I got to know that how to teach spoken English from scratch. I started teaching the students over there, and when I saw the students growing, actually learning something, within this 1 year span of time, and then they started teaching along with me. My students, they also became facilitators. Yeah, and that was a
That's
wonderful
a wonderful.
experience.
That's a wonderful experience, I must say. Right, when the subject you are teaching or something that you're trying to enable people, it's like train the trainer or lead with the leaders, and they start showing that qualities in front of your eyes. I mean, that is like totally mesmerizing.
Actually, and
Yeah.
that was the time when I thought that, what, let's choose this field of public speaking and spoken English, because the students who were not able to pronounce a word in English correctly are teaching to the students like them now and speaking fluently. And it was a wonderful experience. It is the biggest prize that you can ever earn in your life.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
that's
absolutely. That's very true. And it is so close to the heart, and I can see that glow in your face when you're talking about this. That really shows what kind of very good a human being you are, and you really enjoyed that moment, right?
I
I can
loved
truly,
it.
yeah, I know. I can see that. I mean, you don't have to say even a word for that, right? That love and affection and admiration, and that everything is showing in your face. It's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, because when we see our students grow, we see ourselves growing with them, and we
Correct.
have actually made a difference in their lives, and that's a wonderful experience in itself, and that's a blessing in itself, an achievement for any teacher, any trainer.
And you can
So,
connect to that, right? You're able to
yeah,
connect,
I
and
can,
you can
I
see,
can act.
yeah. And each new thing that you teach to those individual, right, and you see that getting nurtured in the right direction, and in the strategy and path that you have laid down for them, with your vision. I mean, that's really admirable, right?
Yeah, actually, and when these students, when they come, they approach you and they message you, when they get something good. That, like, what happened once, one of my student, I uploaded a status. I wasn't, in a very good mood. And he read that status, and then he messaged, multiple students messaged me, ma'am, you are our inspiration. What happened to you? Why are you thinking like that? And I
You were
was like,
not in a good mood, you're saying.
yeah, I wasn't in a good mood and I uploaded some status, out of the blue. Happens
Okay.
sometimes. You become
Okay. Okay.
emotional and you upload some status
Okay.
of quotation,
Bit down. Okay.
but
I
feeling a bit down. And then I got a text from multiple students of mine that, ma'am, you are our inspiration. What happened to you? And always believe in yourself, and you have a power to change this world, and we have learned a lot from you. So that was that day I realized that I have actually earned a true gems for me. You know,
Yeah, and it's very heartwarming, right? I mean, you are able to emotionally connect with someone, and being in your good times, everybody will connect to you. But in your low times, if somebody is even talking to you or asking how you are, that means a lot, right? And you're
yeah,
able to
absolutely.
establish very true connection. You raised a very important point. When you connect or make an impact, it's not always about you're impacting 1,000 people or 1,000,000 people, right? Sometimes it is about impacting just one person, and if you're able to achieve that true to your heart, I mean, that means a lot, right?
Exactly,
Means
exactly. That means a lot.
yeah,
And that's the day you realize that you have actually done something in your career. You have grown, or you have achieved something as a person, as a human. Because
right.
salary, money, though we can earn whenever we want, right? But the bonds, the true friendship, the true love, it's hard to earn. And if you have
Correct.
earned that, you are the most blessed human living
Absolutely.
in the world.
Correct, correct. Money is important. No second thoughts on that. You can get a lot of things, with that thing. But you need to understand that was created by us, right? It's not
Yeah,
something that was God gifted, right? God gifted is our human emotion, human creation, and our ability to grow in life with your friends, family, your colleagues, your society members, and you need to keep growing with everybody you are with, right? It
yeah,
could be your state you are in right now, your nation, and that's how that is the only way we can grow as human beings, in totality, right?
yes,
That is the
absolutely.
process you need to follow, and I can see that you have made such impact, and it's very nice, I must say. I've been looking at your profile as well, really good. The things that you have done in life, I think you can lay down that path for many other people who can just blindly follow you, if I can say that, and lead a very good and successful life, and which means connecting with the right kind of people, which also makes sense, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hmm. Like you raise a very good point. That money is important, and we cannot neglect this fact here as it's a live stream. So I want to tell people. I have seen multiple. Like I teach the students of BTech, MTech, and MBA. I teach them about communication, personality development, and all. And I have heard this thing from them saying that, ma'am, money is everything in life. So when we are not earning, when we are freshers, for us money is everything. Being a fresher, being a student, I can also relate to it. But the moment you start earning, after like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you realize salary is not everything. You start getting frustrated with that salary. Why? Because the burden that you're getting from your job, maybe you're not enjoying that. It is very hectic for you. So we need to understand that whatever we are doing, our passion should lie in that. It's not the salary that matters, it's the passion that matters. And when we go for passion,
Yeah, we
money.
have to, right? So you need to, I have also heard this conversation with a lot of people, freshers, and I can relate to that, right? We have always been there. Money is definitely thing. You need to find the right place where you can get rightly compensated. So no doubts about that, no second thought. So we are not
Yes,
even arguing on that, but what we are trying
exactly.
to say is there has to be a fine balance, right? You
Exactly.
to decide for yourself what gives you that wow factor, right? When you come to work, right? You should do something. It could be one line of code or connecting with one person or solving someone's problem. You should feel, wow, man, this is what I did, right?
Exactly.
Go to girl, that's what I did, something like that. That should give you goosebumps and feel you very nice and warm that you did that in your life, isn't it?
Exactly. And you should go energetic at your workplace. It should not be
Exactly.
like you're dragging yourself over there. I've seen people doing that. Trust me, I've seen them doing it, earning 1.5 lakh a month, dragging themselves. Like, what kind of money is that? I ask because 1 lakh you're earning, 50,000 you're spending on your medical expenses because you're not well mentally.
Correct.
Huh?
You're going to gym in an AC and trying to work out. You can even take a bus, public transport, and go. That'll be enough workout. I have done that myself, right? So find the right balance. So nobody's saying this is good or bad. Everybody
Exactly.
has a different equation in life, right? You may have a different equation. I may have a different equation, right? No two person, no matter how alike they look, how alike they are in the same society, there is always some variable that is different. So find that variable, find that X factor in you, and strive towards it, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I would like to explain this with the help of one example, one
Go ahead.
scenario. Yeah. So, you know what? Let's take an example that you are unwell, or I'm unwell from last so many days. Okay. I visited to a doctor, and now the doctor advises me that, you have to eat healthy and you have to take proper sleep. All right. Now, I started eating healthy, but I'm not sleeping. Will I remain healthy?
No,
No. Why? I'm following one instruction.
there is not the complete instruction, because no one can guide you, is what I feel, completely until they know you completely. You have to also be honest to that person. Sometimes we are not able to completely explain the situation we are in,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
everything that's impacting us, right?
Yeah, right. Absolutely got my point. So, now I did one thing, but I was neglecting the other that was equally important. Sleeping 8 hours and eating healthy both are equally important. Now, what we do when we search for a job as a fresher, we look for the salary package. 8 LPA, 10 LPA, 12 LPA, I'll do that. Where does my passion go? Where does the mental health go? Now, if my mental health is not, equally balanced, I won't be happy throughout, and that is not success. Earning 12 lakh being upset is not a success. Earning 5 lakhs a year per year and being happy, being satisfied, being contented in whatever you are doing is actual success. That's what I really want to explain to this generation of today who has lost this thing of understanding. For them, money matters. It does matter. Even for us, it matters. But it is not everything. Your mental state equally matters. This
Yeah.
I learned a very hard way, but I did learn.
Yeah, I know everybody kind of learns it, and someone are not able to fully go with the flow, or have to make some changes in their life. People call it compromising their lifestyle or whatever, right? But you have said it very correctly. You need to find the passion. But sometimes, what I have seen from my experience as well, right? If you're not able to do though, so in that kind of environment, at least give it a shot, right? If
Yes,
you think that something is right in the right equation for you, then give it a shot. Go for it, experiment, but don't drag it out that enough that it start impacting your health. So observe yourself, right? And I say this now and then also, that try to learn about yourself more than others, right? If you're doing something and that's not giving you that joy or happiness, try to either find joy and happiness in that work which our forefathers have done and sacrificed for ourselves, right? That is also one way of living. But do not compromise on your health, because if you do that, right, if you're having headache daily, for example, doing some kind of work, and you're not understanding the cause of it, and you're taking the medicines of headache daily, that's not a good thing for your body, right? That's going to impact your kidney or whatever. Your body has indicator. It's a dashboard. I keep saying this, that like, if you're driving a car, if your engine light turns red, it doesn't mean that you have to change the LED on the dashboard, right? You need to fix the engine. And that's what your
right.
body is. If you're getting a headache, fix the root cause of why you're getting a headache, right? Is that acidity, is that stress, is that whatever it is, right? Try to find out the root cause. More than documenting anything, try to document your life, what you're eating, what kind of people you're meeting. uh, you know uh, Things will change the moment you start changing yourself, and trying to document. I've seen this with many people, and that's why I was kind of sharing this. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, it's absolutely correct. We should do that, and we should try to know ourselves more. We should try to explore ourselves more, because when we ask people, they talk about yourself. They talk 2 to 3 sentences in this top. If you ask me to talk about myself, I can write an entire book on myself because I've explored myself. You won't
I would say
believe
entire
it.
series. It would not be just one book. It would be like a
Yeah,
book
right.
series. It would be nice. I would be the
Yeah.
first to read it. If you ever publish the book, I will be the first to read.
I'll be doing that for sure and very soon because what I do is I talk to myself a lot. I'm not talking standing in front of the camera like mirror. What I do is I open the video recorder, I record myself, and then I talk to myself. And after recording, I see what was I talking.
Mhm.
Was it making sense? And if yes, yeah, because sometimes I think that the only best friend of yours is you. you know
Correct.
Nobody else
That
can love you the way you do.
no, self love is, that is true. There is no doubt about it. Even in airplane, if you're traveling, they say put your oxygen mask to yourself, which means you're gonna take care of yourself first. It's not
Right.
being selfish. It's not ego. It is what it is, right? If you don't take care
Yeah.
of yourself, how you
How
gonna
can
take
it
care of others, right?
exactly? That's the
I don't
point.
have a strength. If I don't have a strength to lift my hand, how would I have the strength to lift somebody else, right? So you need to
Exactly.
understand that. That's a very important point, and what you have made is very essential for everyone. Self love is the topmost thing. Do not neglect yourself anything. Do not compromise on yourself in any way, right? Be it self respect, right? If somebody is not
Exactly.
respecting you, you need to make sure you explain it. If you don't explain it, and I've seen these cases in many times, and I don't want to take names, but people have lost self respect by not even saying a word, right? You can't just expect respect after 10 15 years of not asking for it, right? You have to ask for it from day one, right?
Exactly.
That's how it is. That's how life is.
Yeah, actually, because you won't believe it. But whenever I go for any job interview, and whenever the interviewer asks, "What is your expectation from us?" Before discussing salary, I just bring this point: I need self-respect. And they smile. They're like, "Ma'am, you'll definitely get." I was like, "Are you promising? Make sure about it." And what if I don't? What will be your takeaway on that? So now they understand, okay, this person is very serious about self-respect. And trust me, the moment you bring this point in front of them and you start working with them, they treat you nicely. They know. They keep on asking. Like my manager, he keeps on asking, Adeeba, is your self-respect, I hope your self-respect is not being compromised, right? I was like, yeah, yeah, no, it's not at all being compromised. So it's a very important thing actually, to mention this thing because
Yeah, it is.
because
It is.
people think that we are getting they're paying us but they have not purchased us, right? I am giving my time that is far more precious because my time is being deducted from my life and my
Correct. Time
life is getting
is valuable.
shortened by 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. Right? Money though I
Yeah,
can earn anytime. That can
correct.
be purchased back, my life cannot be bought back.
Correct. No, that's really true. And mentioning this point, to someone who is trying to recruit you or trying to meet, it could be friendship as well. It could be relationship as well. But if you don't make that point clear, the other person may not always imagine this, right? They may
Exactly.
treat you the way they have been treating everybody, and it may not be wrong. That if
Yeah, but
somebody
nobody
has been
corrected
living, sorry.
because nobody would have corrected them, and they have been
Exactly.
doing
Yeah, if somebody has a particular way of life, right, you cannot say always that that person is wrong. You need to put your point forward, and
it.
if after you're putting your point forward still you're not getting what you want, then you explain it multiple times, and if it doesn't work out, right, then you break apart. But the important thing is you have to make your point clear, because you cannot expect someone else to do something when three fingers are pointing back to you, right? So you need to try three
Exactly.
times first.
Right, right. So yeah, this was all, and now let's come back on the topic of public speaking. We got
Yeah,
carried away a
there's so
lot.
much there's so much surrounding public speaking and personality, and it becomes very important to say that as well, because if you don't mention it, people just say, okay, this is just one part of life. No, it is not. There are many other aspects which are equally important, and everything goes
Exactly.
together, right?
Just a second.
Yeah, sure, no worries.
All right. I'm so sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Things happen. The disturbance is perfectly fine. Once I actually got a call while on a live stream, and I had to rejoin. And once I was holding my camera like this, and it fell down. So
Oh my
many
God.
things happen, but the show must go on, right?
Yeah,
You always
exactly.
keep smiling and taking it forward, and that's for your perseverance in life. So public speaking. So you're gonna tell something about public speaking from your experience.
Yeah. So, public speaking is, I don't think that it's just speaking in public, speaking in front of people. Public speaking and personality development is a way of living a life, the way we live, the way we talk to others, the way we change ourselves after, inculcating these values, I've seen students talking about, communication and public speaking as it's a way of talking to others, sending messages, your communication defines your success and failure rate. The way you communicate, decides, are you going to be successful in your life, how many friends and enemies you're going to make in your life. Your personality speaks it all. So public
Yeah,
speaking is, and how I turned to public speaking, being a science student, then masters, and then public speaking. So I wanted to be a journalist, as I mentioned earlier. My father wanted me to be a doctor, but I wanted to be a journalist. So, and because of some reasons it wasn't possible. So I did my master's in American literature, and after that, I did my diploma in journalism and mass communication. I did not take a career in journalism, but yeah, I went to the something similar to that. That was public speaking and spoken English and communication. I have worked as a mentor in many of the organizations. I have mentored thousands of students all over the world. I have been teaching. There's a platform called Planet Spark. I have been teaching as a public speaking expert over there, and we have students around the globe. From US, UK, and India. So we have students from so many different countries over there, and talking to them made me realize that how much more we have to learn from them. Like I remember once there was a student, from Germany, and
okay.
when I was teaching him, and he asked me this question, that, ma'am, is it important to listen to our parents all the time? Are they always correct? Our eight, a student in class 8 asking me this question from a different country. Now when I'm giving this answer, I'm not giving this answer as a teacher. I'm giving this answer on the behalf of my nation, right?
Yeah,
Because whatever answers I'll be giving, he'll be judging my country as per me. So,
correct.
you come across such questions and how you're dealing with it. Because if I say that yes, it is important to listen to your parents all the time, he'll put back other questions, right? If I say it's not important, then he could put back other questions that, ma'am, it might be a disrespect. So sometimes, we also think, okay, we never thought about it that way. It can also be one other way. So I learned a lot from my students. I learned a lot. I explored about their traditions, their cultures. So it was fun being a public speaker. It is actually fun. And
Yeah, it is
it is.
very
You are
nice. And
from
yeah, different things
mechanical
that,
background, right?
yeah, and different things that you have mentioned about, the questions they can ask. Because I was also on a talk show with a student, and she was also saying similar things. And another guest, do we always give respect? And if I don't know that person, do I give respect or do I not give respect, right? So these things are very I would say very sensitive matter, but they have to be dealt in a very corrective way. You cannot ignore the fact that the person asking the question has a mind of its own, which is fully mature, right? All the neurons are, at least the basic set, are connected. So they are trying to build up their vision of the society, right? So they do need to always have a scientific approach as well. Plus they also need to have a trust, right? Both are equally important. Things like this go hand in hand, right? You cannot have a blind trust and no logic at all. That doesn't work out. You cannot have all logic and no trust, right? It's like doubting everything, right? So there has to be a fine balance. Sometimes things like this can go up at certain moments, and sometimes logic can go high, right? But it really depends on situation and the impact it is doing to yourself, right? if someone elder comes in and say, okay, jump off the roof, you will not, right? You will use logic, right? Then the respect will not come in. Obviously, your parents would never say that, right? But all I'm trying to say is an example that there has to be a fine balance, and situation is the third dimension in that balance that you don't always see. So this is equally important, is what I was trying to.
Exactly. Exactly. No, the reason behind anything should be there. The reason should be
Yes,
valid, okay, and it should be doing the justice with the conversation.
correct,
Like, now if I talk about students asking this question, now there are so many cases where students are traumatized because the parents have been separated, and there are multiple reasons behind it. Now, if I directly tell the student that no, you have to respect your parents no matter what, I don't know what the child is going through, right?
correct,
I don't know anything about his or her life. So first of all, I need to find out the actual background and why the student has asked this question. What is the reason behind it? Because
correct,
for every question, there is one reason. If we ask questions, we have our own reasons, right? So in the same, if anybody is asking questions, they have their reasons. So as a public speaker, as a PDP, personality development trainer, I've understood this fact that whenever somebody asks me about anything, I, instead of coming to a conclusion directly straight away, try to read the personality, that what kind of personality the person possesses, what was the background of a person, and then I try to give the answers. So
No,
yeah,
that's
we should.
really good. That's, I would say, a fantastic approach. And I'll give you a small example, which I always keep telling people, right? If somebody is asking you a question, you have to know the background and environment. It's as simple as a fish asking you, is air important? Well, fish lives in water. Air is not at all important. So don't, if you start explaining about the importance of oxygen and air and being in the sand, the fish will die, right?
Right,
So
right.
that knowing the environment of the person asking the question is that important, that that can be a difference between life and death. Not using strong word, but just take an example of a fish, right? You can't tell a
Right.
fish to go for a walk in the park. It's gonna
Mhm.
die, right? You
Exactly.
can't say that, you know so that's how important it is. And these examples, these analogy are created to establish that hard neuron connection in the person, discussing, because that remains for life, right? And you have to
Absolutely.
all, and that's a brain mapping technique as well. I think few days back somebody was telling me walking in sun is important, and why when you sleep, you need to have a bit darker blinds, right? I think it was serotonin and melanin or something, right? That impacts
Melanin.
of this melanin, right? So the way I remembered is serotonin from the sun is sir, and serotonin, uh, melanin is in Marathi, mela means dead. So you're lying and you're sleeping. So melanin, like that, right? So that's how I related, and that I am able to remember that, for life, right? Now also I was able to speak without trying to remember. Some things like in colleges when I learned about the computer networks, Tannenbaum. Now that was a book, but the OSI layer, APSTNDP, right? Application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, datagram layer, physical layer. I can remember it by heart because you paid so much attention to it, right? So that these are also memory mapping technique. Everything is combined, because if you ignore one aspect of it and just teach the other aspect, what's the point, right? You can explain what is in your mind, but if that doesn't registers in somebody's mind and builds a neuron connection, he or she is not going to remember that for life, right? And then your impact is zero, right? So it's a
Exactly.
combination, isn't it?
Right, right. Absolutely, it is. So yeah,
So
any
nice.
question?
Oh, I
I'm
have a lot
done.
of questions.
Yeah,
Okay,
please go ahead and ask.
you can't be
And
done. You're such a great personality development coach. I would like to hear some more examples that you have
um,
uh, you know done personality development for a specific person, and how that person shaped in a different way for personality development. How did that work out?
yeah, sure thing. I would like to tell you, but before that, I have one very important call to pick. Can I answer
Yeah,
that?
sure. Take your time.
Allow me a minute, okay?
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. It's perfectly fine. Everything is important, so we need to understand that. And while she's coming back, we have a lot of experiences. So I'll just talk something about the show, which people keep asking, right? Ankur, you have started this few months back. Would you like to? I was just saying something about the show, that how I started. Basically, collaborate to elaborate. When people in the cafeteria we met, and we were like, we have a lot of skills and nobody in the world knows about it. And I said, okay, let's come on, go live, and try to explain it to people. And someone were like, how do I come live? What would people think, and how is gonna be? And they had so much discussions. I said, unless you go live, you will never know, right? And some were very shy and some were very hesitant. So I said, okay, let me start up with something and let's see how it goes. And when I started enjoying it myself, right? Connecting to different people, great personalities like you. And it just kept going and going, and it was all fun. And that's how this collaborate to elaborate series went on for the past 6 7 months now. And I think I'm going to touch 100 soon in the next couple of weeks, if that's how it goes.
All right, lucky to be one of the participant in top hundreds.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can even start a series, right? We can talk about this on series, and you can be a guest, and we can invite other participants, maybe your students who have been coached by you. It will be nice to hear their experience, right?
Would love to do that.
Yeah, it will be fun. So
Okay.
you were telling about a student who did a personality development session with you, and how did it turned out for that person?
Yeah, so like I have multiple students, but let me talk
Just
about the student.
one good example that you can
Yeah, yeah,
remember.
I remember, like it's a very fresh example. So I had this student. His name is
We
Seth.
don't have to. We don't have to mention names if that's okay with you. I don't mind, but we don't
No,
have
no,
to
it's
mention
fine.
names. It's more
Yeah,
of
sure.
experience.
Yeah, all right. So what happened? So with this person came to me, joined this institute, this coaching institute of mine, where I used to teach spoken English from scratch, as I told you about, right? So this batch started in 2023. Now this person, when he came, I asked him to introduce himself. So he was not able to, speak properly to give the introduction. He was stammering a lot. He was fumbling his hands and was shaking, shivering. And I was standing right next to him, beside him, and I was not able to listen what he was trying to say. He was speaking that slowly. So I compelled him to come multiple times, twice. I forced him to come. But you know what? You have to come. He was like, no, ma'am, next time. I was like, there's no next time. You have to, first impression for me is the last impression. And I don't think that there's any next time. Because next we keep on coming in a comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
Until and unless I'll not push you out of the comfort zone, you can never grow.
Yep.
Some of my students hated me for this in the initial days. And she tortures a lot. Other facilitators are not doing it. They are teaching, they're going back. But I was like, no, you're Adeeba's student. People should remember you by my name. So
Yeah. Not torturing. You should say the best steel comes from the hottest furnace, right? So that's how the reality of life is.
yeah, the more you burn, the brighter you shine. So this happened, and I started forcing him to come and give the presentations. Now there were times I used to sit. I was a facilitator. And facilitators are basically guide. If you search the meaning, they're not teachers; they're guide. So I was like, okay, fine, let me be a guide. Let me have a rest and ask them to continue the sessions. So I used to give him tasks. And you know what? Conduct this session, teach this thing, teach that thing. Now, multiple students said it, ma'am, why are you not teaching? I was like, I'm guiding, I'm listening to you people. You all are here to learn spoken English. I already know the language. I don't want to learn it. So, students, they did objections in the initial days, but after 1 month, when they compared the other batches, they went to multiple batches. Like we had this, like students were allowed to visit all the batches going on running. Like in the morning, we have four batches. In the evening, we had four batches. So when they went to other batches and they saw the difference or somewhere, they were like, fine, okay, we are learning something. Now this student, he was very hesitant. After 3 months, I saw him evolving a bit. Then he started coming and asking me, "Ma'am, can I conduct the session?" I was like, "Sure, sure, you can." Now,
Great.
he started improving his fluency, started getting better. He used to ask me, "Ma'am, how to become a fluent speaker?" And how to remove this nervousness and hesitation. I would like to tell you the trick behind it to
Okay.
everybody listening. Okay.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Yeah, people say that, confidence is built by practice, right?
Yeah,
No, it's not. If I ask you to teach ABCD, you will be very much comfortable. You can teach me right now, isn't it? With help of multiple examples. What if I ask you to teach simple present tense? You'll think a lot, a little bit, right?
yeah,
Everybody will. Why? Because ABCD is something that I know very well. I've been studying since childhood. I've learned that. I'm very much confident about it. So, confidence comes if we have the correct knowledge about anything. It
right.
does not come with practice. It comes with the full trust in ourselves. We need to have full belief in ourselves, right? So, the advice I give to my student to become a fluent speaker is that we all love watching movies, right? Hindi, English, whatever. So, what we can do is while watching the movie, let's say I've watched a movie, my favorite movie. Now, what I used to do, I ask my students to open the camera, open the recorder, summarize the movie. Whatever you have, just summarize it. Now,
Nice.
what happened now while summarizing? What happens is we come across certain words whose meaning we are not aware of in English. We get
Right.
stuck, but it is not our mother tongue, right? The moment we get stuck, we try to, search the meaning on Google. I ask them to learn those meanings. Those are the true vocabulary that the student can attain. Learning vocabulary from dictionary is useless. I'm not going to use it anywhere. But if I
Correct.
learn the vocabulary by doing this, my fluency will improve. If I'll record myself, I'll see myself speaking. I'll be confident about myself. And you know what? I'm able to speak now, right? And then you started speaking, what I used to suggest them is find out the error. You send me the video, I'll tell you the error, multiple errors that you have. Let's say pronunciation is the error, grammar is the error, or body language is the error. Take one error, fix it. One day, one error, fix it. Another day, the next error. And I can challenge you that if you do it for 15 days, meet me after 15 days and tell me if your English has not been fluent, if your confidence has not been boosted up. This is a research that I did with my student, and now he is a wonderful speaker. I find him as my replacements anywhere I go.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
Two
Very nice.
2 months back, I had to attend a wedding of my cousin, and I had to take leave. My manager said that it's a very important interview for cat and flat, so you have to send me one replacement of yours, anybody from outside your friend circle. The name that crossed my mind was him. I called him. I was like, you know what? I can see only you as my replacement right now. Please go and take the session. He went. He took the session. People actually, loved that. Loved the way he took the sessions, and now he's taking the same organization at my place, replacing me because I left that organization. So yeah,
Yeah,
that is, that was one of the students' example that I saw in my life. Because if you have dedication, if you have passion, and if you know the right thing, you're able to achieve it. Learning a language, building the confidence is not very hard. It's just that we need to contact the right person to know the right thing.
correct. And I like your approach. The approach that you mentioned, trying to record and find one problem and fix it. It's really good, and I've seen people do that. Right? They record the video and look at it from different angles. Right? Sometimes you have to mute the video and just look at your voice actions. Right? Because somebody is doing some kind of hand actions like I am doing sometimes. Right? And somebody is doing it more and somebody is doing it less. Right? So you need to moderate that, and you can do that by just muting the video and focusing just on the visual actions. And sometimes you have to close your eyes and just listen to yourself. Basically trying to split the things into different aspects, like finding one problem, as you said. That is also another aspect where you can improve, and that's, I think, pretty good way of fixing things. And true confidence comes with true knowledge. I totally admire that. It's a very good suggestion. Practice, yes, definitely, but once you build your self confidence with genuine knowledge, right? If you ask me about quantum computing, I may be able to talk few sentences. If you ask me about quantum physics, I will fumble and I will not be able to speak anything, right? No matter, even if I have read something just an hour back. So that comes with true genuine knowledge and true genuine effort that you have put into understand something. It's a very good combination is what I see.
Exactly.
Very, very nice. I mean, I don't know why I have not met you many years back, but it's such a lovely experience you have, and your ability and your kind-hearted nature to teach also makes a lot of difference, right? Because there are many people who are trying to teach something, but with a good intention and finding somebody who can replace you. That kind of uh, nature is very rare, at least to my knowledge. The few people I have met, it's really great, because I also kind of look at those kind of people who I work with, whether it comes to technology, even if it comes to searching something on the search engines or now generative AI. I don't just give people the results. I also give them in past the search parameters that I use to get to those results, because I always believed in the journey is important. Somebody would be able to use that and find a different or a better approach, right? And
Right.
right now with generative AI, I do that with prompts. Whatever prompts I use, I try to share it so that other can benefit or maybe optimize it. So sharing that journey with an intention that that person can be equal or better than you, with that thought in mind, I think that is really nice. You are trying to make leaders, not just somebody who's going to follow you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I don't want people to follow me. I just want them to become the best version of themselves. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so nice. That's I also do that. It's not about building followers. It's about building true and meaningful connection, right? You
Yeah,
connect with that person, and you're trying to change your trajectory in life, and also the person's trajectory in life. They may not know how best or good they are. Sometimes explaining to the person also makes a difference, right?
yeah,
Reassurance, affirmation. These are all real things.
yeah. And it needs to be done timely, and it's very important.
Yeah, we cannot ignore the fact, absolutely. And you mentioned something about explaining yourself to HR, a few minutes back, and I feel that's not rude. Some people might say, you're trying to oversimplify or be very strong in some opinions, but if that matters to you that strongly, you should, right? Otherwise, how the person would know about it, right?
Exactly. We set our own standards, how people should treat us. Let's say that if somebody cooks something, we went to a restaurant and somebody made something. Now, we have the chefs coming in asking them how was it. They want the feedback to improve, right? So if I'm not giving the correct feedback, honest feedback, and if I'm being shy, I'm like, things are fine, thinking that I might be rude. So I have set the expectation of a person and he will be limited to that only. But if I tell him in polite manner, everything was fine. If you add a bit of salt, it would be more delicious. Now, right? The
Yeah,
person will try, will get to know that where was he lacking and he'll try to fix that problem. That's good. It's good to give the feedback in a polite manner. What
correct.
I feel is correct.
Yeah, and from your perspective, there's nothing wrong about it, right? You're trying to add a bit salt to a dish that will make things better from your taste buds perspective, and you're just voicing out your opinion. You have been honest about it, and the person receiving the feedback also has to be mature enough to understand, right?
Yeah.
You're not trying to put down something but trying to explain it, right? And that's how life is.
That's how life is. And while telling this thing, we should see our approach as well. How are we telling? We should also,
Correct.
sugarcoat our words sometimes. It is important.
Huh. At least the initial phase, because
Yeah,
if you don't
exactly.
do it, huh, if you don't do it, it becomes rather difficult for it to penetrate into somebody's mind, right? You can't just keep keeping your
Blabbering the
voice
things,
higher.
right? Yeah.
Matlab, I was when I was working with wireless technology many years back, right? So there is always something called as very high frequency. So if you keep a wireless receiver next to a transmitter, which is maybe running at a 2.5 gigahertz or a 5 gigahertz, right? Sometimes doesn't make sense, right? It's just like shouting at a device, and it will not be able to receive all the signals correctly. So you need to understand that it's not just transmitting, it's also receiving.
Right, exactly. So,
Good.
yeah, that's it.
Nice, nice. It was nice, lovely conversation. I think we can talk almost for a long time, But I think you also have some commitments,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
also have some commitments. Before we wind up, I just added this cultural section. So I know you do poetry. So if there's something you want to add to the show in terms of either poetry or song or anything that you do apart from the topic, I feel that will be very nice. Just I added. If not, that's fine. But I've added this especially from a perspective that these are all what makes us human. So we all have all aspects to it. So this is also an important aspect. We should have something that we enjoy doing, or just apart from the topic, right? That's how it started. So somebody sang a song, somebody sang poetry, somebody plays a musical instrument. So we do all this bit at the end of the show. So if anything,
Okay.
you can think
So
about it for a minute or so.
I have this poetry. I wrote it for my mom.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, it'll take a bit of 2 minutes. Will that be okay if I tell you?
You can take 2 hours. Trust me.
All right.
Oh,
So here
I
it
have,
goes.
I have the entire evening. There's no other talk show today. Yesterday there was one talk show, and I had to cut it short just because the other one was gonna start. But unfortunately, the other guest didn't join for some reason. So that's why I cut short. But now there is no other talk show,
All
so
right.
you take as much as time.
No, 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 no. All right, all right. So, here it goes. Love of a mother cannot be understood by us. Running with the bag of her child behind the bus, a mother left alone and misses wonderful night cannot be spent without her kisses. Delicious dishes given by her burnt hand for the happiness of a child making the house of sand. I only want to say the love so rare, the love so true, I can only find in you. Thank you for giving me birth. Except you, no one can understand me on this earth. Your slappings prove not to be useless, stopping me from doing foolishness. For my exams, spending sleepless nights, for making my mind in future really bright. No, at last, I would like to say that God should bless everybody with the wonderful mothers that we have around. Thank
Yeah.
you. That's it.
That's so nice. Almost my eyes are a bit wet, but that's really nice. The way you have said it, I can sense the emotions inside it, and you said it very correctly. There is no replacement for mother. And all due respect to all the mothers and women and girls. Really nice. That is well understood. And even if somebody is getting into a new relationship, right, the way we treat our mothers with respect, and we have actually, she has given her birth, but we have also given our life in her hands, right? So if
Right.
you want to get that kind of love, you also have to give your life,
Exactly.
and trust in someone so that you'll get it back, right? So it's like your three fingers pointing yourself. When you're pointing at someone, always analyze yourself also. Be it any relationship, right?
Absolutely.
Be it friends, whatever relationship you're getting into, you have it always works both ways, right? And your action
Exactly.
always speak louder than words. So
Okay.
the way you react, your body language, the way you are, explaining things. And I know when you mentioned about COVID times, right? And many right now, many calls they are remote, they are on video calls and on phone. You need to understand that's the only way. If somebody is listening to you, you need to take a step extra to communicate different aspect of yourself, right? uh, because if you're just communicating with someone on email, right, uh, if you are respectful, you need to show that on email as well, right?
Exactly.
Otherwise you're not gonna get the respect back always, right? If you're
Agree.
just speaking to someone on voice, you have to lower your tone or moderate to understand someone as well. Because if that's the only way you're communicating, you need to understand, you need to put everything in that voice, right?
Actually.
Compassion, empathy, justice,
Mm.
trust, everything. It's very difficult, right? That's why people say, and many leaders have said, we need to return back to office, because they know when you meet someone face to face, you can see a lot of other things. You can interact with the person's aura, you can see their reactions, and act accordingly. when you're remote, it's a bit difficult, and not everybody would be able to put in that effort. So they say, okay, come back to office. That's the reason. But if you can demonstrate, or you are able to do that on the phone, then things may change or may not. But you need to understand that, right?
Absolutely.
What do you think about that?
No, no, no. Actually, I was listening, and you are totally correct. And it's very much mandatory nowadays. People have there are so many people who think that there's no point listening to others. I have seen youngsters addiction with this. I have talking about my brother. Let me give an
Okay.
example. He doesn't care whatever is happening around. He's in 10th standard right now. You'll
Mhm.
always find him playing. Now we have these games being invented, PUBG and Free Fire. I don't know why people have invented this game. I really want to meet the owner because the addiction is as such that students, kids nowadays are not leaving it. They are just so much into it. And as I told you, I teach the students of MTech and BTech. There are students who sit at the back bench playing PUBG. I was like, oh, come on, guys, you're grown up. You all are, mechanical engineering and AI. You all are doing this. Please focus on something. They're like, ma'am, we want to become a gamer. This is what is going to make us, pay, and we are going to have our living with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, the
Not,
addiction
yeah. Yeah, not mentioning any games names, but addiction is bad in
for anything, of
in
anything.
totality, right? In anything, as you said correctly, you can make a career out of anything. That's your
Yeah,
passion. So no
exactly. That is
arguments
the
there.
passion. But
Correct. Yeah. You need to have a balance, right?
exactly,
जैसे मेरी मम्मी हमेशा कहती थी, अति is bad. अति of anything, excess of anything is
anything
bad.
is bad.
So if you are not able to find that balance, your friends, family, and who is senior to you needs to see that, and help you with that balance. If you're not
Right.
able to do it yourself, ask for help. Because you may be in a situation that may require some assistance, right? Because
Exactly.
it is not just cutting off that particular addiction. And I'll give you a small example. When somebody is addicted to someone, right, or something, or some substance, or any game, or anything, right, if you cut that thing off, right, they may get addicted to something else. Not having a strong EQ, or emotional quotient, right, not having that emotional balance, or a strength in your mental abilities, you can get addicted to anything. So you need to strengthen yourself. It's like a virus attacking your immunity, right? You can get particular vaccines, but you need to also understand there's some people who don't get affected by the viruses, right?
That's true.
There are some strong viruses, so I'm not arguing on that fact, but the idea is you should also try to become immune to this, or stronger. And that is also the need of the hour, because if you stop one addiction, and you might have seen with some kids, right, if he's doing something, he or she, and you stop that, he'll figure out something else, right? You
Something
can't
else.
24/7. But if you try to explain and make that person a better human being, or a stronger person, and try to explain the consequences, and how you can win over that situation, rather than the situation winning yourself all the time, then that person to some extent would start understanding, or at least be on the path of understanding, right?
That's
What do you
the
think about
that's
that?
actually I agree. I agree. And it's very much mandatory also to make them understand. And you know what? Allow me a minute.
Yeah.
Actually, I have to go somewhere.
Okay. Yeah.
So
That's
can
perfectly
we
fine.
wrap up? If
Yeah. Yeah. No. No. I think we just started for 10 minutes, and you have to go. So take a leave. We'll connect again. Talk to you
sure, sure.
later. Okay. Bye bye. Take care. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, night. Bye, bye.